All right, let's go. So we're in the middle of Vayikra, Pashat Acharei Mot, Perek Tet Zayin, Pasuk Daled. What is the Kohen Gadol wear during service? Ketones Bad Kodesh Yobash, he shall don a sacred linen ketones, Miknas Evad, Yu Al B'Saro. Linen Miknasayim shall be upon his flesh. Uve'avnei Bad Yakor, he shall gird himself with the linen of Nate. Uve'mitznefet Bad Yisnof, and cover his head with the linen Mitznefes. They are sacred garments for Achatz B'mayim. He shall immerse his flesh in the water, Espesarol Vesham, and then don them. So there's a whole procedure in how we go about things. It's important to stick to procedure. When we daven, as I mentioned, it's very important to stick to the procedure. Now, since it's not a sacrificial service, we do have more leeway, unlike the other view who are taken by Hashem as an example right away. If we do sinning during our prayer service, it usually doesn't happen that we're taken right away, and nor does it have to, because it's not as a serious situation as serving the base of Mikdash. But we should still realize what is the foundation of why we have a prayer service. It's because we're remembering the sacrificial service. Not that people didn't pray before the base of Mikdash, because of course we know there was prayer in the times of Abraham, Yitzhak, Yaakov. Sure, before that there was forms of prayer, and after that. But the prayer service that we have today is to help us have some form of service that resembles and talks about service in the base of Mikdash. So we have to take it seriously. And in general, when we talk about life, let's talk about serving Hashem, keeping Torah. What are we talking about here? Sacrificing. Torah what? Torah is how you keep Torah. Go on and sacrifice on behalf of the community. Mm-hmm. So when we keep Torah in our everyday lives, today we don't have sacrifices. In the future we will. That's Hashem. Soon. We don't keep Torah just to check off lists. I'm from. I'm good. Yeah, I got this. And then in our lives, we're not really such great people. Because if you're keeping the Torah and you're not a good person, or trying to be a good person, of course, we don't know who's a good person, who's not. Only Hashem knows. We have to strive to be good. Strive for truth. Strive to be good. We're learning the Yisroel, path of the just, how to become just. Mm-hmm. It's a process. It takes time. It takes effort. But without trying, without caring, a lot of people in life feel, I am religious, I am good, I'm okay. I don't have to be so great as a nice person, or I don't have to care about my fellow. I did this. I went to shul. I put on my tefillin. I went to work and paid the bills. I sent my kids to yeshiva. I gave some stucco. I gave my maser. That's for other people. How do you go about preparing for Shabbat? Right? Do you check off the list? I got this, I got this, I got this, I got this, and you complain along the way when you're getting it? I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not the best person preparing for holidays or Shabbat. I'm just saying, what should we be thinking about? There's a joy in the process of preparing for Shabbat. It starts when? Right away. Right? Yom Rishon, we say, it's the first day towards Shabbat. Sheni, Shlishi, Ravi, Chamishi, towards Shabbat. Shishi, Erev Shabbat. Shabbat. Everything's about leading to Shabbat. The cycle of the creation of the world. 6 days was world was created. On the seventh day, Hashem rested. What that means, Hashem resting, it's really
abstained. I don't think it's abstained, right? It says abstain from work.
We're not capable as human beings to really understand what that means. Yeah. But Hashem's humble enough to allow us to try to understand something about it.
What does it mean rest though? Does it mean rest?
Well, that's an English word anyway, translation. Yeah, no. So it's not so simple.
But I think it's rest. I've seen translation of it.
But anyway, going back to the topic, the idea is this. If we're just going to be from, mm-hmm. The people say, let's do Kiruv, right? Yeah. And the idea is let's get people from. I don't believe in this term from. I believe we're Jewish people. I'm using the term that the community is using, from. Do you think that we had been in the times of Mashiach, everybody was from and the community around like it is today? I don't think so. There's a lot of sinas chinam, a lot of hatred. Going back to what I'm saying, the Torah wants us to keep the Torah, the spirit of the Torah. It means we have to care about those. Why did I just say if everybody was from? It doesn't mean for sure that we're going to have the service, the base of Mikdash. What does keeping Shabbat mean? When it says if everybody were to keep 2 Shabbat, or it could be 1 Shabbat connected to 2 weeks, depending how you read that.
To bring Mashiach faster.
What is keeping Shabbat though?
Or what does it mean?
Is keeping Shabbat just a checklist? Oh, I did this, I did that, I did that, I kept Shabbat? Or is there a spirit in Shabbat? Is Ahavat Yisroel part of Shabbat? Yes! Part of keeping Shabbat is Ahavat Yisroel. So if we don't have Ahavat Yisroel, if we don't care about our brethren in Israel, you know how many people I hear say, oh, I can't go to Israel, most people aren't religious. First of all, what does religious mean? Believe in God. Observance means keeping the laws. The fact that you're talking about your brother not being religious, is that keeping laws? It seems like a lashon hara to me about a lot of people. When I'm in Israel, I'm talking to the public, sharing with my brothers. Part of the advantage of me not being known as such a strict guy, or I'm not such a perfect Jew, I know that, to say the least, is that I can relate to people on their level. I'm not saying people should follow my example, don't. But follow my example of talking to your brother, getting to know them, try to love them. I'll give you an example. I was staying in Ness Ziona. I was renting a place from a family that calls themselves socialist, right? Not religious. Sitting down to breakfast, I said, I was eating something. I said, say Amen. He said Amen. You know how powerful Amen is? Not only that, when I would go up in the morning, they asked, oh, are you going to the synagogue? They might have said Beit Knesset, Israeli. See, even though they don't believe in doing all that necessarily, they're encouraging me. And then when I got back home and I reached out before Pesach and Shabbat, I wished them Shabbat Shalom, Chag Kasher Sameach, wrote back, Chag Kasher Sameach, Shabbat Shalom. These are people not from. But they're decent people, and they're Jews, and they're willing to say good things about God even if they're not so into it. In Israel, people are special. They're brought up with a special spirit. They're inculcated as young kids with Torah, even if they're not in religious programs. It's part of the culture. When you watch TV in Israel, it says, Motzei Shabbat, this will be premiering. Yom Shabbat, this will be on. So in fact, in the process of watching TV, which is against what you should be doing on Shabbat, they're actually keeping Zachorat Yom Shabbat by having Yom Shabbat in the discussion. We have to care about each other. We have to strive for truth. We have to strive to purify ourselves. We have to think about what we're doing about being Jews. It's not just about a bunch of tests, and that's not about showing up to a fancy dinner and spending a lot of money. It's good to give to charity, but I don't know if making the big show and the dinner and spending the money that way is the best way to go. I'm not sure about that one. It's not about a speaker getting paid a lot of money to speak. It's not about that. It's not about someone making a comedy show out of the Torah. It's surely not about me and what I do in my career. That's not from the Torah. That's something I have an idea of accomplishing certain things I want to get accomplished. Definitely no hashgacha. But if we don't believe in Hashem, all this practice doesn't mean anything, because Hashem wanted us to practice. Hashem wanted us to practice. What He preached to us for ours.
We also said Na'aseh V'Nishma. We said Na'aseh V'Nishma. We will do.
I'm in the middle of a statement here. You're making me edit. We gotta work. Good thing I'm not getting paid for this anyway. So yeah, I'm not looking to get paid for it.
We're getting paid. In Shemayim, you're getting paid for that.
See, we're gonna stop on that. I like that.